Hey, honey, how are you? Oh, Raven's my son's favorite school. Yeah, you're saying that. It's Monday. I think it's Monday. She's 6:40. Definite confirmation. Sorry, that's what I'm being told. Yeah. I hear this what's going on, but I want to make sure. Collaborate.
Gutierrez Gachetti and Board Member Greaves are participating by telephone. I will now take roll call. Chair Gutierrez Gachetti.
Present.
Board Member Caulfield. Here. Board Member Caniff. Here. Board Member Greaves.
Here.
Thank you. Next is the open public meetings notice. Adequate notice of today's regularly scheduled meetings of the Board of Directors of the New Jersey Transit Corporation, New Jersey Transit Rail Operations, New Jersey Transit Bus Operations, New Jersey Transit Mercer, and New Jersey Transit Morris has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act and Public Law 2018, Chapter 162. The meetings will occur concurrently. Notices were filed on December 5, 2019 with the Secretary of State. These notices were sent to newspapers of general distribution, posted in the main entrance of New Jersey Transit Headquarters, published on the corporation's website, and sent to each individual, agency, and organization that requested such notice. The meetings are viewable on the corporation's website in real time and will be video recorded, archived, and made available to the public. Minutes will also be archived and published on the website. Thank you.
May I have a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters, contract negotiations, the status of pending and anticipated litigation, and matters falling within the attorney-client privilege, including but not limited to New Jersey Transit's conveyance of property interest at Orange Railroad Station and the Portal North Bridge Project real estate acquisition. May I have a motion to enter into executive session?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. We will return shortly.
Video only that one time, right? And after that, you know where she's coming from.
Chair Gutierrez Gacchetti may reconvene open session.
Thank you, Joyce. I hereby reconvene the session of the board meeting. Board Secretary, please take roll call.
Roll call. Chair Gutierrez Gacchetti.
Present.
Board Member Caulfield. Present. Board Member Caniff. Here. Board Member Greaves.
Here.
Thank you.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the November 13th, 2019 board meeting? May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the November 13th, 2019 board meeting?
So moved.
May I
Second.
have a second?
Board Member
May I
Caniff,
have a
second.
second?
Yes, I second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. President and CEO Corbett, will you present the President and CEO's monthly report?
Certainly, thank you, and good morning, Chair, and members of the board, and to all members of the public who are here today. Once again, we do have some overall good news to report about our service. On the rail side, cancellations are down 35% in the first 11 months of this year compared to last year. Cancellations this November, in fact, are down 55% from November of 2018. On-time performance declined somewhat from 91.91% in October to 89.2% in November, but is still up significantly from the 82.2% we experienced last November. On the bus side of our operations, thanks to new bus purchases and graduating more than 650 new bus operators since January of 2018, we continue to average more than 90 new additional bus trips per day. That's out of 10,000 bus trips, roughly 10,000 bus trips per day. While it's clear we still have a long way to go, it is also clear that we are making significant progress, and that progress is not going to stop. I'm also proud to point out that many of these statistics are now available in our new easy-to-use, easy-to-understand online performance dashboard, which went live on November 26th. This was an outgrowth of Executive Order 80, issued by Governor Murphy to ensure greater transparency for New Jersey Transit. The dashboard includes industry standard statistics on our performance, equipment reliability, and service level, and fulfills Governor Murphy's executive order. which directed us to publish these monthly rail performance metrics online. We took that directive and ran with it, going above and beyond what was required to an unprecedented level of transparency and accountability at New Jersey Transit. We'll continue to update the dashboard every month to track on-time performance, mechanical reliability, delays and cancellations, and other important service-related metrics. You can compare and contrast statistics by line or from month to month. We'll also include data for bus, light rail, and access link. In a moment, our Chief Customer Experience Officer and Customer Advocate, Stu Mader, will give a brief presentation to show you exactly how it looks and works. I'll let Stu explain the details, but I'll say this. We've made it easy to use and easy to understand as possible because we want to be held accountable for it all. Stu?
Thank you, Kevin. So as Kevin mentioned, we operate hundreds of trains, buses, light rail, and paratransit vehicles every day. And to help customers and the public see how we're doing, we're making it easier for you to track key performance measures per Governor Murphy's Executive Order 80. On November 26th, we released a detailed dashboard that includes on the new njtransit.com that displays on-time performance, equipment reliability, and the causes for service delays and cancellations. You can view this performance data at njtransit.com/performance, and you'll see 4 gauges at the top of the page, each showing the latest on-time performance at a glance for bus, rail, light rail, and access link paratransit. Below these gauges, you'll find figures showing our progress in renewing our fleet, reinvesting in our customer experience, and rebuilding our ranks of talented staff, including locomotive engineers, bus operators, conductors, and everyone else throughout our organization who is essential to running the largest statewide transit network in the nation. Selecting a gauge will take you to a page with more detailed data. Let's take a look at rail as an example. The rail page provides system-wide metrics as well as individual line-by-line metrics for each individual rail line. The rail page also highlights on-time performance for each individual line and overall on-time performance from January 2017 to the present. Cancellations by cause are also displayed from January 2017 to the present, and for example, in October 2019, 1.2% of trains were canceled, and the chart provides a breakdown of the causes, including mechanical issues, unpreventable, other railroads, and human factors. Tapping the question mark in the upper right of the chart will show you easy-to-read, customer-friendly definitions of each of the cancellation cause types. And for example, unpreventable cancellations are defined as incidents that are outside of New Jersey Transit's control, including inclement weather, flooding, external utility and power failures, medical emergencies, trespassers, and local police activity. Mean distance between failures, rail equipment reliability is provided from January 2017 to the present as well. And as the chart shows, October 2019 is the 4th consecutive month of improvement, and we've been on an upward trend in terms of rail reliability throughout 2019. Pages for bus, light rail, and access link also provide on-time performance and equipment reliability metrics, and we'll continue to refine and update the dashboard with new data on a monthly basis. I'd like to thank everyone across our bus, rail, light rail, and access link operations, our partners in IT, our communications and customer service team, creative services team, and our social media team, who invested significant time and effort to design and build this dashboard, assemble all the necessary data, and communicate the benefits of this tool to our customers and the public. I'd also like to share that I've redesigned the monthly report to the Operations and Customer Service Committee to make use of this dashboard, and the report I delivered on December 2nd incorporated the charts that you see here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Stu. As we work to improve and increase transparency, we're also training more locomotive engineers than ever before. Later today, I'll be joining Governor Murphy to celebrate 11 trainees who are on track to successfully complete the on-the-job training portion of our locomotive engineering training program. These trainees are poised to become full-fledged engineers the next month after completing their final check rides. This is also a very special class. It's a pilot class made up exclusively of assistant conductors. Working collaboratively with the FRA, Federal Railway Administration, we use an innovative approach to leverage the students' previous extensive railroad training while still meeting the curriculum's rigorous requirements. For our customers, that means more locomotive engineers on the job as soon as possible and fewer train cancellations. I've said this before, but I think it bears repeating. Overall, during the 2-year period of 2019 and 2020, we'll graduate 7 classes of locomotive engineers, the same number of classes that graduated in the previous 5 years combined. We're training and hiring more locomotive engineers than ever before in New Jersey Transit's history. This also seems like a perfect opportunity to recognize extraordinary contributions by our Human Resources Department, along with our Bus Operations Training Department, which have been working overtime to replenish what was a severely understaffed and hollowed-out agency. In total, since January 2018, we've hired more than 2,000 union and non-union employees. When you factor in retirements and other normal attrition, the net gain during this period is more than 1,600 employees. That's out of a total of roughly 11,500. On the management side, we've brought in some of the nation's highest caliber new leadership from both the public and private sectors to fill key roles. I want to highlight in particular the extraordinary efforts in recruiting, hiring, and training more than 650 bus operators since January 2018. This effort has yielded significant benefits for our bus customers in terms of fewer missed trips and our ability to add capacity on some of the fastest growing routes in our system, like the 126 and 119 routes in Hoboken and Jersey City, respectively. These new operators, along with the new buses we'll be taking receipt of in 2020, will result in nearly 2,000 more passenger trips each weekday, more than 500,000 additional passenger trips per year. On the HR side, I'd like to acknowledge Tina Murphy, Deputy Chief of HR, and her team. Tina, please stand with your team. And on the training side, I'd also like to recognize Rebecca Peralta, Deputy General Manager of Performance Assurance Training, and her team for the work to train an unprecedented number of bus operators in a very brief time frame. Rebecca? Applause certainly is certainly in order. That means hundreds of thousands of riders, through next year who have a lot to all of you, and that certainly is appreciated by, I'm sure, all on the board as well. In particular, I would like to, speaking of the board, I know Ray Graves is on calling in on this, for working with Mike Gilcoin, the head of our bus division, and his team on an agreement that allowed senior experienced bus operators to come in and augment our bus training staff in order to meet this critical mission. Again, thanks everyone for a job well done. While talking about high quality hires, I'd like to take a moment to introduce the newest member of our executive leadership team. Please join me in welcoming Carmen Tavares, who joined us last month and will lead our new Office of Real Estate, Economic Development, and Transit-Oriented Development. As many of you may remember, last year, Governor Murphy signed legislation requiring New Jersey Transit to establish this office. And we couldn't be more pleased to welcome Carmen to take on this role. Carmen joined us recently from Wereldhave, USA, a subsidiary of the European-based Public Real Estate Investment Trust, and has more than 20 years of diverse real estate management experience. Her notable transactions include the sale of 20 Exchange Place, a 56-story office tower in New York City's financial district, and the development of a 120-acre site in San Antonio, Texas. There, she worked closely with the local community, government authorities, and Department of Transportation to develop a master plan for a $500 million project, 1.8 million square foot, sustainable mixed-use development. Carmen will be instrumental in our vision to more aggressively use TOD, transit-oriented development, to develop underutilized properties around transit, optimize the value of assets across the state, create sustainable, environmentally friendly growth and development, and generate additional non-fare box revenue, which will ultimately benefit our customers. Carmen, want to, so where's, there you are, there, Carmen. Yeah. Great to have you on board. We have been, as we touched on, restoring service on bus and on rail. Should also add Newark light rail, as we have been transforming our organization internally and started focusing on adding service and restoring service. Certainly after restoring service in and out of New York on weekdays recently on the RVL and on the peak, the MOBO trains and select reverse peak trains after the summer's Amtrak work. We are now increased weekday peak period service on the Newark Light Rail Broad Street extension to allow trains to operate on a reliable, steady schedule of every 10-minute headways. This follows extremely positive customer feedback from the trial that we did this summer during the Amtrak work to really make for a smooth, predictable flow between Newark Penn Station and Newark Broad Station. And based on that feedback, we incorporated that into a regular service now every 10 minutes from approximately 6:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. at rush and from 3:30 to 8:30 p.m. every weekday. Previously, as many of you know, it was a schedule operated anywhere between 10 and 19 minutes, and it was unpredictable. And the feedback, we don't yet have the ridership comparisons since we just introduced it. But I would say, as a regular customer on the extension, I can tell you anecdotally that ridership is definitely increasing significantly as a result of this new enhanced service. Another thing on the project side, another way we're working to improve service is by pushing aggressively on a number of major capital projects, several which I've reported over the last number of board meetings. Today, I'm pleased to report significant progress on our county yard Delco lead storage and inspection facility. Last month, we received the last major environmental permit needed to begin construction at the Delco lead portion of the facility. As part of this project, Amtrak began demolition work at County Yard, which is right along the northeast quarter near south of New Brunswick, and began demolition work at County Yard, which will facilitate future construction work by New Jersey Transit to improve and expand the yard. We're excited to be progressing so rapidly and working successfully with this on Amtrak, and the importance of this project, it will help protect New Jersey Transit rail cars. As you may recall, during Hurricane Sandy, many of the rail cars were damaged at Hoboken. This will allow us now to put all our rail cars up in a safe place and protect them during storms, and then allows us to inspect and service the trains at a centrally located inspection facility so they can quickly be returned to service following any extreme event that would require moving them up there. And this also ensures more resilient, reliable service for all our customers along the northeast quarter. To conclude my comments this morning, I'd like to recognize 3 extraordinary employees. I think there are often occasions when, some people will knock our staff, and sometimes that gets publicity. There are often a lot of really great things done by a lot of New Jersey Transit staff that don't necessarily get the recognition and can get overlooked. The 3 employees here today, John Hayden, Rashawn Rhodes, and Luis Cesares, will you please stand? A round of applause. The reason we're recognizing these gentlemen is on Tuesday, December 3rd, during the height of the evening peak rush hour, on the M&E, train 881 was en route where a female passenger became ill, vomited, and passed out on the train as it was leaving Summit Station. The crew, John Hayden is a brakeman, Rashawn is a conductor, and Luis is the engineer, who are here with me today, immediately notified the dispatcher, called New Jersey Transit Police and EMS, and arranged to meet at Chatham Station, the next station up, in a matter of minutes to get the assistance to help with the passenger. During that time, they also made an announcement to all the other passengers to see if a doctor or nurse was on board, and made repeated updates to the passengers to let them know what was going on and what they could expect in the timing. I actually happened to be on board on that train and came forward to see if I could help. The sick woman, apparently a seizure, was removed by EMS as arrival at Chatham, well coordinated with the police and the crew, and the train actually was quickly back on its way with some delay, but certainly relatively minor delays, while still being attentive to the sick woman. The coach was evacuated because of the effects of the woman being ill, and closed off for the remainder of the trip, and the other passengers were accommodated the other cars. When the coach arrived Hoboken, it was cleaned and then returned to service. These 3 employees did not hesitate to act, to communicate well, and to help when one of the customers needed their help most, while also addressing the concerns of other customers, both on the train, and they took control of the situation, did everything in their power to get the customer the care she needed. They also ensured that service was not interrupted for the customers on board and the tens of thousands of customers coming home on the trains that were held behind them. That's why now, in the normal course of business, when you see these conductors and crews that do these kind of things, we really appreciate the effort they make. That often goes unrecognized in these kind of situations. So for taking that kind of those kind of actions and professionally following up, even under the most difficult time of the day in this difficult situations, I would like to give a big round of applause and recognition for these gentlemen.
picture and, yep.
Evan, does that conclude your comments?
Yeah, yes, that does. We're just taking a quick photo, Commissioner.
Great, thank you.
And that does conclude the comments.
Thank you. Joyce, are there any comments from the public?
Yes, we have 16 speakers and an additional 5 speakers on behalf of Russell Grady. Speakers, in order to give everyone an opportunity to be heard, comments will be limited to 5 minutes. If there are several people speaking on the same topic, 2 speakers will have 5 minutes to provide comments, and all other speakers will have 2 minutes to provide comments. The first speaker
Joyce?
is, yes,
Joyce?
yes, Chair.
Just for emphasis, we have 21 speakers today, and in the interest of time, and I don't mean the boards, we're perfectly willing to sit here as long as it takes, but please abide by the 5 minutes that you're given, or the 2, based on what you're told by the secretary as you approach the podium. There are people behind you that need to speak and also need to get places. So when you see those lights go off, please be cognizant of the fact that you need to be wrapping up your comments and stay within the period. Again, not for the convenience of the board, but for the convenience of those that are waiting to speak behind you and their other obligations. Thank you.
Thank you. The first speaker is Mayor Wilda Diaz.
Good morning, board members, board chair, president, Kevin Corbett, and along, I know there are commissioners also on. I am Mayor Wilde Diaz, and I'm the mayor of the historic city of Perth Amboy. And I'm here before you because I want to thank you for your support for the item 1912-78, Perth Amboy Railroad Station Accessibility Improvement Project. I, along with our community, can express our gratitude to the board, along to our commissioner and the governor for finally getting us to this point. I have been before this board many years back when we came before you to stress the importance of our train station, which is in the heart of the business district. To have that train station renovated, it has impeded usage, and I'm going to explain why. Residents with disabilities could not use Perth Amboy train station. Families, especially moms with strollers, could never, especially if those parents had children and that stroller, they could not use the train station because of those steep steps. The fact that the train station was not accessible, even to our senior population, was detrimental for our community. I have been advocating for them. Perth Amboy has over 50,000 residents. 80% are Latinos, and many of them don't drive. And this train station was so important for our community. The fact that it's in the heart of the business district. So much development has happened throughout the last 10 years since I was before this board. We had development where a federally qualified healthcare center is walking distance from our train station. We have large corporations moving within that train station, where we have even development in a redevelopment area where Home Depot is opening up the distribution centers walking distance from this train station. We have multi-use businesses that have opened up within the business district. And again, all of this happening right around the train station. So for us, it is crucial that the renovations are done so that everyone has access to not only visit Perth Amboy, but for those that are traveling to other areas of the state of New Jersey and out of the state. So as I'm before you, we started off with a 30% design work, and to know that now we're finally at the 100% design work, and to know that by next year we're looking at this going out to bid. to finally get our train station renovated for our community. That again, I felt for so long, we were a second thought. And I come before you to tell you thank you, and to the commissioner. I know she's on. Thank you so much for what is happening here today, because this is just going to help the not only the city, but it's an economic engine. It's going to help our entire business district. We have a beautiful waterfront, walking distance from this train station. So we'll have so many, it's going to visitors coming to our community, but most importantly, I mean, this is what we have long been awaiting. And I just wanted to come before you to thank you, because Perth Amboy has waited long enough. This train station since it's been built, to know that people with disabilities were unable to use it. People in wheelchairs would have never been able to use Perth Amboy train station. So again, I just wanted to make sure that I came before you to stress to you how important this decision that you are making today and the impact that you're having on the lives of thousands is appreciated. So, Commissioner, I just wanted, again, I know you along with the governor's office, thank you, and to all the board, that finally we are having, I say justice for our community. That people finally, those that most needed this service, will now have an opportunity by the end of next year. I'm hoping that we're not going to wait another 10 years, that by next year, we see that they're shovel ready and that we're ready to use this train station the way I believe that it should have always been. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's our pleasure to move this project forward.
The next speaker is Jason Panero.
Good morning, Kevin Corbin, and good morning to the NJT board. Has been 3 months already since the last report of positive train control, and we are approximately 365 days away for December 31st, 2020 deadline. When are we going to see a more broader report regarding positive train control? Because as you guys know, if NJT doesn't comply with this term, on January 1st, 2021, there will be no trains running. So that means passengers will be stranded in New York and in New Jersey. So my request will be, give a more transparent report, include every single line, including the Port Jervis line and the Pasquette-Valley line. And talking about the Pasquette-Valley line, they should deserve a second express train that was taken away from them a long time ago. This express train is let's say it's necessary and it's way overdue. And we don't want to see 4 slides on a report. We want to see details. We want to see transparency, like the MTA does every single month, that they provide a broader detail of what things are going on. I don't see that over here. And I hope that, Kevin, you are listening to that message. And my last request will be, please meet with the advocates, because the advocates are the ones that are on the field riding the trains every single day. And over here at New Jersey Transit Corporation, they feel ignored. Why? Why are we ignored? And the MTA, they listen to us every single time. If we have a complaint or issue or anything, they listen to us. Why not over here? Why we see canceled trains with no original explanation? Why we have events like the VMAs across the street in the Prudential Center with no extra service? So you guys should explore what you got, and when you guys have long events like the VMAs in the future, explore expanding service and provide extra service for those who are attending the activities, going to the activity and going home. because it was a huge embarrassment when in August you guys had the VMAs over here in the Prudential Center and you guys didn't provide extra service for the activity. So I yield back the balance of my time.
Thank you. The next speaker is Oren Getz.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, members of the board. My name is Oren Getz, and I'm on the Metro North Rail Commuter Council, representing commuters who ride Metro North. The mayor of Perth Amboy spoke very well on the need to have her station upgraded and made handicapped accessible. Well, we have a critical situation in Suffern, New York, and we need help from New Jersey Transit. This station is owned by New Jersey Transit, and we need it actually turned over to the MTA so that the MTA can do the work on making that station handicapped accessible. It's a critical thing for Rockland County. Our county executive, Ed Day, is fully behind it, and we need your help on making sure that we can get Suffern Station handicapped accessible. Also, I'm extremely disappointed on the response of Kevin Corbett in his December 2nd letter to Kathy Rinaldi, the chairman of the, president of Metro North. We are missing our second express train and on the Pascagoula Valley line, and we still don't have a status of when we're going to get it back, and that's very important. New Jersey Transit should set goals and set a schedule on when they're going to restore the trains and let us know what it is and try to keep to that schedule. If you don't have a schedule, you really have no plan of when you're going to restore those trains. Also, as I said before, the advocates. The advocates are very knowledgeable people who ride the trains daily. We did have advocates meetings with previous executive directors. We had it with Ronnie Hakam. We had it with Jeff Warsh. We had it with George Warrington. We really need to see and have more meetings with New Jersey Transit staff so that we can let people know what's going on. Also, we need better status on positive train control. Metro North already has PTC up and running on the Hudson line all the way from Spuyten Duyvil up to Poughkeepsie. And that not only involves using Metro North trains, but also the trains of Amtrak and the trains of the freight railroads. So they're up and running, but I haven't seen what New Jersey Transit's going to do, and we're very, very concerned about that. We need a much better status from New Jersey on positive train control. Also, we need to know what's going to happen with the Pascagoula Valley line sidings. Years ago, there was a memorandum of understanding to stop building two of the critical sidings because the mayor of Oradell took out a lawsuit against New Jersey Transit. There is a very important need for those sidings, and we need New Jersey Transit to revisit the memorandum of understanding to make sure that this project is restarted. Our county executive, Ed Day, has been pushing for this, and we'd like to see this come to fruition. It's important for not only New York customers, but very important also for New Jersey Pascagoula Valley line customers. And one final thing is the board. There's only a few of you here. I go to Metro North committee meetings, and I see all the board members that they have. They come in, they use mass transit to get to their meetings. You need a large board to get a full understanding of what's going on the railroad. And it's very important that you work with the governor and make sure you get the proper appointments, because this board is just too small. It's not really effective. I don't see any discussions amongst board members at these meetings like I do see at the Metro North Committee meetings, where the board members do discuss these things and important issues at depth, because they're very knowledgeable about what's going on. Please, we need a larger board of board members on the New Jersey Transit Board of Directors. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Randy Glucksman.
Good morning. I am one of those board members that my predecessor, Oren Getz, talked about. As I said, good morning. Nothing has changed. There's still the same board members who represent, who don't represent riders. you're nice people. I don't have anything against you, but you don't ride the trains and you don't see what's going on. I wish that the resolution would come soon because people who can have this expertise could provide it. No doubt you've seen the press releases, the letters regarding service between Metro North President Catherine Rowley and Kevin Corbett, CEO here, about the restoration of the contractually agreed upon Metro North Expresses. Last week, even the state Senate President, Mr. Sweeney, said that it was unacceptable that these trains are not restored. I mean, my question is, don't you need the money that Metro North is withholding from paying you? Again, referred to the press release of May 3rd of 2018, where you wrote that all those trains, my 2 trains and the other 16 trains statewide, would be restored in early 2019. And I've been asking this question at every meeting I've been to since beginning of the year. I'm concerned about all the trains. You must have a planning department here. So somewhere in this building, someone must have a timetable as to when those trains will be restored. In fact, that very nice presentation about your dashboard, I would suggest adding a section called goals. And the goals would be to determine when, by line, each of those 18 trains, and I understand there are other trains that disappeared in previous years, would be restored to the schedule. This way people will know when they could plan. And I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. The next speaker is Jamie Saratella.
Good morning. I represent the carpenters here in North Jersey with the Carpenters Union, also with the building trades in New Jersey. We're in favor of the transit grid projects, especially the power plant, and we feel that it's important to you guys that you have a highly skilled workforce that we provide. It's not only creating jobs for us, our members use it every day, and families. So it's crucial to us, and to have partners like New Jersey Transit is important to us too. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Rocco Lepore.
Good morning. I am a union rep for Local 253 Carpenters, and our 3,500 members and myself just want to say we support New Jersey Transit Grid Project. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Tim Sevener.
Hello, I'm Tim Sevener from the Transit Village of Mount Tabor, Director in the New Jersey Association of Rail Passengers. First, I'd like to thank you for increasing the frequency of the Newark Light Rail. I think really it should be considered to be, 10-minute headways all the time. When I come out of here, I don't know if I'm going to make it and make my train at Broad Street Station or not. I usually ride my folding bike, but I can't today. At the last New Jersey Transit meeting, and we had 2 union members here now, the Alliance for Action provided public comment in support of the New Jersey Transit Grid, including its current configuration of a climate-destroying wasted asset of a 100-megawatt natural gas plant. New Jersey Association of Rail Passengers has always supported the New Jersey Transit Grid, which is an important element of resilience in the in event of future climate catastrophes like Sandy or Irene. Resilience in the event of climate catastrophes. This needs to be powered by solar plus energy storage, not the proposed natural gas plant, to make New Jersey the leader in renewable and truly resilient solar rail. As Ted Glick put it at the New Jersey Draft Energy Plan hearing some months ago, natural gas is not a bridge, it is a gangplank towards increasing climate disaster. We salute Eric DeLeo and the consultants, Greener by Design, for meeting with us to inform them about the feasibility of substituting truly distributed solar plus energy storage instead of the proposed one-site natural gas plant in the flood-prone Meadowlands. The more we find out about the New Jersey Transit Grid as we've come to these documents, the more distributed solar plus energy storage appears to be not only the greenest, but also the most resilient and in the long term, the least costly option. Note the following key points we have discovered. Number one, the proposal for a natural gas plant was made by Sandia, or they report for them, in 2014 with the claim that this was the least costly solution, and there's even been the claim that solar could not power trains. But in the past 5 years, solar and energy storage has made major advances so that state utility boards have realized that solar is not only greener, but more cost-effective than stranded natural gas plants. And they are only funding solar plus energy storage. No more natural gas plants. 2, there is no FTA requirement for a natural gas plant. This recommendation was made without serious consideration of solar in 2014 solely on the cost and known technology basis. Since then, as I pointed out before, to the New Jersey Transit Board, we know that solar rail is already running in Australia, Austria, and pilot projects for the UK and India. 3, in fact, solar powered trains have been running since 2011. Yes, 2011, 8 years ago, in the innovative Belgium solar tunnel, currently powering the Paris-Amsterdam high-speed rail with the following characteristics: 3.4 kilometers, covered with 16,000 solar panels, producing 33 megawatts of electricity per year. It was installed at a cost, mind you, this is 2011, of only 14.5 billion euros. It was installed in 12 weeks. It's powering 4 trains per day. All board members have been provided documentation on this. So yes, solar can power electric trains, and it has been doing so since 2011 for 8 years. The major obstacle cited by Greener Design in our meeting was enough acreage to install solar farms. We already have enormous potential without building a solar tunnel by simply leveraging what we already have for electric rail, namely the stanchions to support the catenary wires, which already exist with enormous strength. These stanchions are about 30 feet wide, could support 15 2x6 foot solar panels mounted. You want to make them south facing, on top of them, the same way PSE&G is mounted. We've all seen them. Solar panels on light poles. Put them on the stanchions. These stanchions are about 100 feet apart or so, which means that 780 solar panels could be mounted above the existing railroad tracks for every mile of electric rail. Okay.
Mr. Sevener,
Thank you.
May
Let's get
I have a copy of your statement for the record?
Yeah, I gave a copy
You did? Okay, thank you.
to everybody, but if you want
Okay,
one.
thank you. It's
And
okay.
also the documentation about the numerous documents about the Belgium tunnel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go solar. Thank you.
The next speaker is Paul LeGrand.
Good morning, board members, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I represent the Insulators Local out of Northern Jersey. We are a union, and we work on mostly every energy project in the state. I'm here on behalf of the Resilience Program. After or during Superstorm Sandy, everybody that owned a house in New Jersey either wanted an emergency generator or acquired one. I feel that the reasons that everybody may want one could be different, but you want to provide for your families. I feel that what the transit is trying to do is provide for your families and every other family that uses New Jersey Transit to provide security and independence for your system. And I support the idea of the resilience program with a gas turbine. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Bruce Bergen.
Commissioner, board members, President Corbett, good morning. I'm Bruce Bergen, and as you know, I'm chairman of the Raritan Valley Rail Coalition. On behalf of the thousands of riders and millions of residents along the Raritan Valley line, I want to thank you and the staff for the recent reinstatement of the off-peak one-seat ride. as well as additional regularly scheduled same platform transfers in Newark and some additional trains running into Hoboken. These are all long overdue, and we're glad that it's finally happened. I also want to thank you for the repairs that have gotten done at the Newark Penn Station, particularly on the escalators, and the indication that in the future there'll be more done to try and keep regular upkeep on the elevators and the escalators. I realize that over a number of years, funding was difficult, and you fell behind on keeping up on these, but we appreciate that in the future more attention will be paid to the infrastructure. I noticed a number of positive items on your agenda today. Progress on the Portal North project, which is, of course, an important part of the Gateway project, which we have long supported. There's also approval of a lease for your station in Bound Brook to the municipality. Bound Brook, of course, is along the Raritan Valley line, and we appreciate that opportunity for that station to be rehabilitated. Most importantly, we support the approval of the $500 million bond issue for purchase of buses and trains, which will, of course, benefit everybody who rides by making the fleet younger and less prone to breaking down. I want to make clear, though, our main goal, the Raritan Coalition, is to improve service along our line. We do support all that New Jersey Transit is doing for all of the commuters and all of those using the system, and we do believe that that's an important part of making quality of life better for all of the residents here in New Jersey. Speaking, though, specifically about the Raritan Valley line, I spoke recently to Union County Freeholder Chair Betty Jane Kowalski, who couldn't be here today, but she told me about an experience just in the last couple of weeks of taking the one-seat ride off-peak into New York to have a visit there with some people and being able to take the one-seat ride back. And she just impressed upon me how much of a difference that makes to having to change trains in Newark. So I can't impress upon you enough how important it is for the riders and residents along the Raritan Valley line for there to be ongoing progress towards expanding the one-seat ride. I understand that there needs to be a feasibility study done, so we urge you to please get that study started. Let's start the process so that we know what has to be done to create fair and equitable one-seat ride for the riders along the Raritan Valley line. And I just want to note that there was a mention of transit-oriented development. The Raritan Valley line is the poster child for transit-oriented development. Thousands of units have been built or are planned to be built along the entire line, from Union all the way out through the 4 counties. So truly, we need the one-seat ride to make that transit-oriented development make sense. Thank you, and happy holidays to all of you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Samuel Richter.
Hello. When I was here in July, I asked the board to address a couple of concerns of mine, and I have an additional one today, which should be easily satisfied. That one is that late announcements on the Riverline Light Rail, of which I'm speaking, I'll always say the delay is 15 minutes. Sometimes it is. More often, it's much less. The announcement should read up to 15 minutes, unless it's certain that it's going to be a full 15 minutes. What I had mentioned previously was that the automated message board and announcements on the train frequently are not timed correctly. If you have just passed stop at train station X, headed toward train station Y, the announcement should not be, once we've just passed train station X, that the next stop is at train station X. These improvements can be made, I would think, very easily and very cheaply. A little more complicated, of course, is my main issue, which is and remains that there should be at least one employee upon each train, one for each of two cabs, I guess it would be. That would discourage the raucous and very unpleasant behavior on board the trains, which, as the minutes from the last meeting very accurately and helpfully reflected, was actually my main concern. My main concern was that, rather than the safety on the train. In fact, I got a call soon after leaving the meeting from a captain with the New Jersey Transit Police, who was patient and professional and slightly helpful. Only slightly helpful because, of course, he couldn't address what my main concern was, which is the activity going on board, which would be discouraged if you had an employee there. An employee could collect the fares of people who hadn't validated their tickets, charging them, of course, a premium. And I would encourage greater ridership on Riverline Light Rail. And what I was going to say today was that the main issue was, well, we hear so much about wresting ourselves out of a problem and how we can't do that. And yet, the call, which I appreciated from the captain, reflected the misguided thought that my main concern was safety, rather than allowing people a pleasant enough ride that it would increase ridership. But at this meeting itself, something else arose when we appropriately and helpfully honored three great employees of New Jersey Transit who helped a woman who had vomited and fallen unconscious, saving her from what I suppose could have been death. Well, you wouldn't find that in Riverline Light Rail. That wouldn't happen. That couldn't happen because there is no employee on board the train. So that individuals who face that or similar problems would not be tended to. And that's yet another reason, in addition to increasing ridership, which is extremely critical, as everyone knows, why there should be an employee of New Jersey Transit on board. I think that, although of course, obviously there would be additional costs for the employee, for salary and benefits, there's also the matter, I'm sure quite a few fares are not being paid. And with the spot checks, there really aren't enough individuals being found out as not having been paid to really make up for much of that. And again, by doing that, we've turned it into a law enforcement problem rather than having an individual, an employee on board who could collect fares which haven't been paid, charging a premium, of course, and to encourage ridership and help prevent the kind of problems that these three individuals bravely and effectively solved.
Thank you. The next speaker is Todd Hewer.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Todd Dewar. I'm from Local 164, International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, and I just want to voice my my support for the power grid. I'm all for clean energy. I'm all for solar energy. My members actually install solar energy, but the only problem is the the amount of solar energy for this project would equate to pretty close to the size of the city of New York, of Newark, which is 26 square miles. It's just not feasible. Other feasibility might be a mini nuclear grid. That's not feasible at this time. A gas-fired generator is, in today's world, very clean. It's come leaps and bounds since when it was first introduced. It is what I would call much cleaner energy. And it's also about middle-class jobs. My members and any other trade that would be involved with this project, it provides middle-class jobs for my workers. You know, the other argument is, well, they're only temporary jobs. Yeah, well, my life has been a temporary job from job to job. This is what we do. We build. We can't bury our heads in the sand and pretend that we don't need this. You know, we were reminded of this at Sandy, and we can't just put it off, and argue about, you know, how we're going to do it. The best way to do it in today's technology would be this gas-fired generator. You know, technology is going to move forward. We are going to have better battery storage. We are going to have better solar, and we're going to have improvements to the gas-fired generator. So the improvements will go in time, but for today, in today's world, we need this. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Kevin Marion.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Marion. I'm also a member of the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Like my colleague said, this would be a good program, a good project for our members, of which we represent over 3,000 members in Hudson, Bergen, and Essex County, of which 421 are minorities, women and minorities, I should say. And this would be a good project to put our members back to work on a quality project. So I'm in favor of this project. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Don DeAugustine.
Good morning. I'd like to thank you for having the opportunity to also speak on this project. I represent Millwright Local 715. I'm also a resident of New Jersey and a user of the trains with my family, and so are my members. And a project like this is good work for us. As my colleague from the electrician stated, this isn't a one-stop job. There's maintenance on these type of projects that go on for 30 years that can be employment for our members. And it's clean technology, it's new technology, and the maintenance that goes on is to maintain that level of quality so that, you know, there's not a high pollutant there going out into the air at the time. This is a good job for us. We need the work right now, you know, to keep it cost effective so my members can use New Jersey Transit. We need the reliability that this project is going to give. And we all went through the conditions with Sandy where we didn't have ridership. I think this is going to ensure us that, you know, we'll be able to use the transit in case something happens to the power grid as opposed to everything falling apart and that domino effect that happens when power goes down in our area. So you guys, whatever you can do to get this project up and going as soon as possible will be great. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Leela Charney.
Good morning. I just wanted to enter into the record a letter that was sent to all of you from the Ethical Culture Society of Bergen County. Dear Commissioner Gutierrez Scacchetti, the need to plan for climate emergencies is increasingly apparent. So I welcomed hearing the New Jersey Transit has a resiliency plan proposal, especially in light of unanticipated failures resulting from Hurricane Sandy. Then I learned of the specifics. New Jersey's proposed plan to provide backup power to its trains is for a fracked gas plant, the former Copper's Coke site in Kearney on the Hackensack River in the Meadowlands. The proposal appears to be on the fast track with federal funds in place and a project manager on the job at the New Jersey Transit headquarters in Newark. I have deep concerns about this proposal and its effect on global climate change. I request that your board steer away from fossil fuels, including natural gas, and instead seek an energy source that will not further pollute the air, endanger the wetlands, contaminate the water, and add to greenhouse gases. While using public transportation instead of cars is environmentally sound, putting a new fossil fuel plant in this fragile environment is simply the wrong thing to do. It's also unfair to already vulnerable communities. Instead, I would like to see a massive solar solution with modern storage batteries on the site or some other green alternative. Safeguarding our environment is a stated goal of Governor Murphy. A member of your board, a plant that adds methane, ground-level ozone, carbon dioxide, and other contaminants into the atmosphere undermines that very worthy goal. And this is from the Ethical Culture Society in Bergen County. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Paula Rogovan.
Good morning. Some of you probably heard about the hundreds of people on Friday at the student-led climate strike. We marched from a rally at Rutgers Newark campus to the headquarters here. We marched then to Peter Francisco Park, a block away from here. People were adamant in our demands for clean air, clean water, renewable energy, and justice for all. And this is one of thousands of actions around the world. Specifically, though, the hundreds of people in this demonstration demanded that all plans for the New Jersey Transit frack gas power plant be dropped immediately. Why? Using Sandy Resilience Grant to fund a fossil fuel power plant is absurd. It's obscene. When Governor Murphy finally opposed the Meadowlands power plant in North Bergen, he said, it's not good for New Jersey. Then there's no reason why the New Jersey Transit power plant just 6 miles away in Kearney would be good for New Jersey. It's not. The power plant would be in a floodplain in the Meadowlands. The Meadowlands are wetland, nature's way of helping deal with flooding. More building in the wetland is short-sighted. The power plant would be built at Copper's Coke, a toxic site. The toxins would flow into the river. The greenhouse gases, the pollution from particulate matter, the ground level ozone, and other potentially deadly pollutants would harm all of us in the region. Kearney is an environmental justice community. Early on, Governor Murphy talked about supporting environmental justice communities. This power plant would especially harm Kearney, which is already being harmed by pollution from the landfill. The lifespan of the power plant would be 30 to 40 years. Building in pollution for decades is unacceptable. New Jersey needs to use renewable energy for public transportation. We have met with officials, and we're so happy and thankful that we were invited to meet with officials from New Jersey Transit. We appreciate that. We're waiting for our request for more information so that we can continue to work and plan with our consultants for solar rail with solar storage for that alternative. Such trains, as were pointed out by other speakers, are already in operation in Austria, Australia, and elsewhere. I spoke with my 5-year-old grandson, Elijah, on Sunday as he was putting a bunch of marbles in a slinky. I told him it was just like the flywheel that could be part of the train powered by renewable energy. I told him about our solar proposal and asked him to help with the design. Here is a picture of his invention. I taught kindergarten and first graders in New York City for 44 years. Children can be brilliant inventors. Here in New Jersey, we have students of all ages from kindergarten to universities. How about if New Jersey Transit and Governor Murphy challenged New Jersey students and all people of New Jersey to look at the preliminary design for solar rail and make it even better? Of course, it doesn't have to be exclusively solar. We could have wind and other sources of renewable energy. That would be great too. The $409 million from the Sandy Resilience Grant grant could fund solar rail for the Northeast corridor covered by the grant, then the state could seek funding, additional funding to expand solar rail to the whole state. Maybe someday New Jersey will lead the whole nation in solar rail.
Thank you. The next speaker is Michael Stiles.
Good morning. My name is Michael Stiles. I'm the business manager of Pipe Fitters Local 274 in New Jersey. We also control gas distribution and mainline across the whole state of New Jersey. As PJM has spoken about, their power grid is almost maxed out in the Northeast, relying on local power generation, and National Grid's gas distribution or transmission system only maxed out, but there's enough room in the state of New Jersey for this project. Governor Murphy and the BPU are calling on their energy master plan for total electrification of the New Jersey transit system. Are they not? We all know this. So by 2050, the whole New Jersey transit system will be electrified. Now, with that, there is going to be a need for more electric, and especially when the extra tunnels being built through going over to Manhattan, that'll create more of an electric demand on the state of New Jersey and surrounding area. I sit on the Energy Master Plan, and a lot has been discussed. Now, like Todd said earlier, it would take more, a lot more than the city of Newark in solar, because you're going to have to add more electrification for the new tunnel. Now, when it comes to power plants, they're down to 2% carbon, and they're also zero net carbon power generation. Okay? And those technologies are being used right here in this country, all of Europe, and it can be used here one way or another. Okay? Solar panels are full of lead and chromium. That doesn't sound very green to me. All right? And I could bring that up. And I support this project for my members and everybody else, and I think it's a great project because it'll add resiliency to your plan. And when the total electrification comes in, you will need the power for electrification of the bus system, the train system, and everything else. And we all know under Superstorm Sandy, the Northeast region lost billions of dollars, billions, in the economy of the nation. So therefore, I feel this project is deeply important right now, okay? And it has full support of me, and I'm sure all the building trades and all my members. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Sally Geller.
Good morning. Sally Geller, Lackawanna Coalition Communications Director. We're still waiting for the return of many trains that were scheduled for temporary cancellation on most of the northern lines. The MTA can hold funds in escrow while they negotiate for the return of express trains and others on the Pascack Valley and Port Jervis lines. We in-state riders have no such leverage, but we are suffering equally to New York riders and getting just as irritated by constant yet unpredictable delays and cancellations. After more than a year, we do not even have an estimated date for the return of our temporarily canceled trains, even as you represent that you are making good progress on PTC installation, though your statements seem quite optimistic to us. We're glad to see more peak hour service on the Newark Light Rail. We'd like to see at least 20-minute headways, even Tim's 10-minute headways all week. We were pleased that you took current system limitations seriously enough to hold off on train service to the new mall in the Meadowlands. We're curious about the innovation and partnerships you seek, but believe that standard bus, rail, and ferry service would be sufficient. We hope to see NJ Transit restored to take public control of this project rather than for a for-profit entity getting the project, which would result in higher cost to riders and slightly more complex transfers between existing services and a new system. Today's agenda includes a $500 million bond fund loan for new equipment, presuming that the EDA authorizes tax-free bonds. We would like to know if you've done a comparison of interest payments versus savings from reduced maintenance and operating costs. New Jersey Transit does have a high breakdown rate, but would a comprehensive repair rebuild program yield savings? The state has an ambitious goal for electrification of the transportation sector. Does this equipment purchase enable or delay full electrification? I note that you have started to publish the data required by the governor's executive order, and thank you for that. It's clear that it is at this time a work in progress, yet all files are present except as of last check the Pascack Valley Line's on-time performance data, which I presume will be coming shortly. As time goes by and posting the information becomes more routine, I have some suggestions for making the data more accessible, which I have included as an exhibit with my printed statement. One comment that I will make, which you kind of clarified earlier, is the use of unpreventable as a category of cancellations. One would hope there are no preventable cancellations. As a category, the label really doesn't help, and percentages listed on that category as high as 79.9% on Montclair-Boonton line for March of 2018, with a number of months on various lines having percentages in the 30s and 40s. This is not helpful information for those trying to understand and or address the causes of cancellation. Infrastructure is also rather vague. I never saw that little question mark with the how you can find out what these. Put that somewhere where people can find it, because I'll go back and look for it. We remain extremely concerned that New Jersey Transit Management continues to refer to one of their managers as a customer advocate. This continues even though they and their predecessors have known that throughout the agency's history that the Lackawanna Coalition and the New Jersey Association of Railroad Passengers, NJARP, have been the genuine customer advocates for the past 40 years and remain so today. Last month, Lackawanna Coalition Chairperson David Peter Allen, who practices in the field of intellectual property law, reminded you that you are carrying out this deceptive practice knowingly and intentionally, apparently attempting to discredit and dilute the ongoing efforts of both our groups. NJR President Len Resto and his organization are in full accord with the coalition on this issue. It appears that NJ management is attempting to cause public confusion about who is really advocating for the transit riders of the state, and we insist that management cease and desist from this deceptive practice. If you wish to have an ombudsman or a customer liaison, that could help relations with beleaguered riders who still do not have our trains back, but stop claiming that you're employee advocates for your customers when you know full well that it is the Lackawanna Coalition and NJARP who do so. In my last few seconds off topic here, yes, the problem in Sandy was transmission, not generation. If you're going to put in new generation, make it the most clean, green, solar, wind, renewable that it can be. I can't think of anything else. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have a group of 5 speakers on behalf of Russell Grady. The first and last speaker will have 5 minutes to provide comments. All other speakers will have 2 minutes for comments. The first speaker is Errol Kerr.
Good morning. Let me just say thank you to the board for the recognition of these wonderful members of your staff who acted and literally saving someone's life. It's a great thing to recognize, good when it happens. You know, some of these companies like this, sometimes we grow so big and large that we forget that it's the small individual who makes the company actually work. And while I'm on that subject of individuals, there is no question why we are here this morning. We are here because we are still in search of justice for Mr. Russell Grady. I must be honest with you that there has been some discussion regarding how we bring about a resolution to this issue. But I must remind you that in resolving this issue, we must take in consideration how egregious the act was against Mr. Grady and his business, what he lost in the process. So it would be very difficult for a decision to be made, and we considered it to be reasonable without any consideration given and any relationship with what New Jersey Transit is putting on the table and the actual loss that he suffered. New Jersey Transit has put something on the table which bears absolutely no resemblance, no relationship, it's not nothing of that sort to the suffering of this man. No, he's not here begging New Jersey Transit to give him a dime more than what he deserves. That's not the question. He doesn't want it. He's a proud man. And he has worked hard in his life. But he wants justice. And we are here because we believe that he deserves justice. I sat there and I looked at the name tags. Governor's representative, treasurer's representative, president and CEO, board secretary, deputy attorney general. When we are in meetings, they told us, oh, I cannot do anything. I cannot do anything. I have to go to the people who make the decision makers. We are here, and I want you to tell me who is the ultimate decision maker in this decision, in this process. Because the reason why we come to this board is because we believe that you have the authority. Now, if you do not have the authority, tell us to whom we escalate the issues so we can get it resolved. Because we've been doing this for 2 years plus now. So we just need that information so we can get this issue resolved. Because we don't intend to be coming down here for the next 2 years. You know, looking at you looking at us, and there is nothing being communicated between us. We really, really want this to be resolved. And the sooner, the better. We really don't want to go on the slant with this. We just want justice for Mr. Grady. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Jamie Bland.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jamie Bland, and I'm a chapter leader under Reverend Al Sharpton, the National Action Network. And on behalf of the National Action Network, we are really puzzled about why we have been coming back and forth here for 2 years plus, as Mr. Carr mentioned. It's obvious that Mr. Russell Grady had been treated unfairly. It seems to us it might even have been a little racism. He won all the bids that he needed to win. He was treated terribly. We are very upset that he even was asked to pay 2 years without occupying the building. As a businessman, and as a man with the pride and dignity that Mr. Russell Grady has, he continued to pay so that he could continue on with his life. Now, this humiliation, along with the racism, along with a family that he had to feed as a man, has broken his life mentally and physically down. He's still an A-list businessman who's been helping several organizations in the city of Patterson and other places. He stands tall with Reverend Sharpton. And we don't want to go any further. So I am here today to ask if we can do what's right. And everybody step outside of your titles and think about what's right. How this man was bamboozled out of his business. And as I said previously, he won all the bids. Let's get justice for Mr. G. No justice? No justice? Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Donna Ivy.
Good morning. Are you on? I don't know. Okay, so I don't think this mic is on.
It's on.
Is it?
It is on. It's on.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So, my name is Donna Ivy, and on behalf of, I sit on several organizations in the city of Patterson and Passaic County. And on behalf of the AARP of Patterson Chapter, the Patterson Seniors Association, and Passaic County African American Women's Association, and of course, Mr. G's, we continue the fight for fairness. In all fairness, the definition of fair reads, in accordance with the rules or standards of legitimacy. That's a basic piece that I pulled out of it. I thought that that was important because it's legitimacy that's important, and the fairness of legitimacy is powerful. Our group, Mr. G's folks in orange shirts, are here advocating for fairness for Mr. G. We bond together to ensure that he receives a fair and just, equitable, impartial, unbiased, dispassionate decision. This is painful. This is painful and it hurts. It hurts because there is really no legitimate reason why we need to be here every month. This has been an unfair process for him from the door. And we continue to come because we know there is just and unjust that we need to fight for. So, really? Okay, so here okay. So in all fairness, please be just. Please make a decision that's going to be in his best interest. And on that note, I also would like to say to us all, my prayer is that we all enjoy a safe and wonderful holiday season. We are bound up in this country, and we need to care for each other in this season. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Princess. The next speaker is Mr. Russell Grady.
Good morning. My name is Russell Grady, and I start to see this as my second home. I've been coming down here that long. Let me say this. I have been communicating with Mr. Snow, your attorney, and I met yesterday with the Chief of Staff, Justin Davis, the young lady over there, Caroline Benchair. Is that correct? Pronouncing of your name? And I understand very clearly the strong position that you're in. The thing I don't agree with is how you got there. It was unfair and it was unjust. This case has been vindicated. If you go back through the records and really seriously research as to what happened and how it happened, I can't stand here and believe any courts will vindicate anything that happened in this case. I question you again. I'm running a business, paying my rent, my lease, paying my in-debt service, railroaded out of my business, put me out of my business October 2004, promised to put me back in again. 90 to 120 days, we're going to take your equipment out, we're going to reinstall it and put you back in business. You didn't do that. You reneged on that. I had a 20-year lease, only 7 years into that lease. You put me out, and instead of putting me back into my business, I got a letter from New Jersey Transit. Put me out in October 2004, February 2005, to my attorney. Where can we send the invoices? So we could send the invoice to Mr. Grady so he could pay his rent for his lease. I'm not in there. You done took me out. You done tore my business down. I have no income. But you want to know where you're going to send the invoice for me to pay my rent. Fast forward to November, December 2006, January 2007. Still ain't in my business. Still receiving the invoices. I'm still paying my rent. You are 3 months behind in your rent. You got to pay it because you have a lease with us. What am I paying for? Put me out of my business. I'm paying the rent, paying EDA, my in-debt service, but I have no business. Go to court, and yes, somehow you come out of that saying you went out. You got to go back and put your business back in again. We're going to give you $183,000. Back up a bit. We've gone to court, arbitration. Give Mr. G $1,300,000 to go back in his business. You didn't do that at all. Well, all this stuff that you did to me, and you did it wrong and how you got there, been adjudicated. You know, all that wrongdoing. How can any court or any fair legal system let you do all the stuff that you did to me, and at the end, adjudicate it? We don't owe you anything. We don't have to give you anything. What happened to my 20-year lease? Only 7 years into my lease, what did I do? I'm still asking, what did I do wrong? What did I go wrong? That I could be treated like that, and we don't have to give you anything. You really don't have to give me anything, but you should. But you should. You shouldn't be able to use the legal system and the courts to do your dirty work. That's not fair. That's what we question. That's not fair. And we're still not going to accept that kind of situation. I'm ready to negotiate. I'm ready to try to get an understanding, but we're not going to accept the unfairness and unjust treatment to me the way you did and just let it go away. We can't do that. We'll see you in February. Hopefully before then, we'll have a meeting of the minds and had some kind of fair settlement. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, there are no further speakers.
I will call upon Suzanne Mack, who will present the advisory committee report.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, members of the board. As you probably are aware, our December meeting will be held this Friday. It will be the joint meeting held at the Trenton train station. I would like to thank in advance staff from New Jersey Transit that will be there for us to get not only a recap of the progress that has been made this year, but to start to set the agenda for next year. As you know, we're very excited about the strategic plan, and also we join you in the fight for stable funding. So it will be a very lively agenda, I believe. I did want to take a moment, though, to just acknowledge that a longtime member of our board, Ralph White, who is actually a former New Jersey Transit bus driver from the Greenville Garage, but served on our committee for many years. He passed away in between our meetings, and we will be having a moment of silence for him in Trenton, and we also will be having a plaque for his family. I see today he would have been very pleased to see all the great New Jersey Transit employees being honored as we honor him. And I would just like to wish you all a very happy holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joyce, I'll now call upon Basil Giletto to deliver the Senior Citizen and Disabled Resident Transportation Advisory Committee report.
Good morning. My name is Basil Giletto, and I chair the Citizens Advisory Committee for Local Programs. I spoke to you in July about our committee's direction. At that time, I mentioned that the committee was actually visiting each and every county to evaluate the programs implemented. Although we have not seen everybody yet, we've identified some pretty competent operations. They do have their limitations, however, such as providing service beyond their service areas or beyond their normal hours of operation. None, absolutely none, seem prepared to handle the number of seniors who require dialysis multiple times per week. We need to continually strive to reduce these weaknesses because the services provided are all that our seniors and disabled have. Many moved to the suburbs years ago and have lived very fruitful lives. They had no idea that once they had to give up their car, they would have no alternatives. Their children do what they can, but are at that stage in their life where they have their own responsibilities that also can't be ignored. Baby boomers, we've lived in the suburbs. We're beginning to use county services, but honestly, we've never learned about any of the mass transit options. We've had our cars, 2, 3, or more per family. Taking a bus, as an example, was both time-consuming and inconvenient. We're getting older, however, more fragile and more dependent upon others to help with even the most basic transportation requirements. We are now much more interested in what you guys have to sell. There is a problem. It'll be necessary for somebody to train us on the mass transit options. We see evidence of this at literally every public meeting that Local Programs has. It is a common occurrence for an attendee to sob or cry because of the position they find themselves in. In many instances, Local Programs can actually solve each issue with little more than just instruction or perhaps a phone number. Once we learn that we can be independent, we respond very favorably using every single one of these new transportation options. It's becomes obvious very quickly that the baby boomers easily can contribute to your revenue stream in a major way at least, even if there's never another medical breakthrough. New Jersey Transit will be capitalizing on our group, just our group, until 2064. We're a very large segment of the population, and it's only natural that once we begin using your system, we absolutely will train our children. I'm hoping that New Jersey Transit decides to invest even more towards this future. As a final note, please remember that Local Programs has built the basic infrastructure in each of our counties, and it's already addressing many of our local needs. It is my personal suggestions that Local Programs develops a program that rewards county operations that develop synergies with their neighboring counties. This is the direction that the Central Jersey Transportation Forum has been encouraging and is already embraced by many local mayors and freeholders. And to conclude, Thank you for your time for this update. I got involved in senior transport after my mom had a stroke that significantly hindered her ability to get around. We were able to allow her to stay in her home, but there were times when I had to drive 50 miles after work just to buy her fish food. It made me truly understand just how hard some people have it and just how important New Jersey Transit is to them. Again, I thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Joyce, I'll now call upon Board Member Caulfield, who will present the Operations and Customer Service Committee report.
Thank you, Chair. The Operations and Customer Service Committee received an update on trends, analysis, and actions for rail, bus, light rail, and Access Link. The committee also received an update on social media activities and the cost of service. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Board Member Caulfield. Board Member Caniff will present the Administration Committee report.
The Administration Committee received a financial update. This included an update on ridership and revenue, cost of service, key performance indicators, major balance sheet items, attrition and hires, and real estate and economic development highlights. The committee also received updates from Human Resources and Equal Opportunity and Affirmative Action. That concludes my report.
Thank you. I will present the Capital Planning, Policy, and Privatization Committee report. The Capital Planning, Policy, and Privatization Committee discussed the proposed expansion of bus route number 119 and bus route number 772, New Jersey Transit Resilience Program, Delco Lead Storage and Inspection Facility Project, and County Yard Improvement Project, NJ Transit Resilience Program, amendment to the 2012 Task Order Consultant Contract Program for Environmental Permitting and National Environmental Policy Act documentation and other support, Perth Amboy Railroad Station Accessibility Improvements Project, Borough of Bound Brook lease for eastbound station rehabilitation, NJ Transit conveyance of property interests at Orange Railroad Station, and the Portland North Bridge Project real estate acquisition. This concludes my report. I would now ask Kevin Corbett to present the action items.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to introduce Mike Kilcoyne, Senior Vice President, Surface Transit and General Manager of Bus Operations, to present Board Item 1912-75. Mike?
Thank you, Kevin. Good morning. We are recommending approval of Item 1912-75, the proposed expansion of bus route number 119, which is Bayonne, Jersey City to New York, and bus route number 772, Paramus, Hackensack to American Dream, and new premium express service between New York and American Dream. Authorization is requested to take all actions necessary to permanently operate Sunday service on bus route number 119, expand the schedule of bus route number 772 on weeknights, Saturdays, and Sundays, and to implement the premium one-way bus fare on bus route number 355. We ask your approval of item 1912-75.
May I have a motion to approve item 1912-75?
So moved.
Have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Joyce, please take a roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez-Gacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Caulfield? Board Member Caniff? Motion carried.
Yes. Now I'd like to introduce Eric DeLeo, Senior Vice President, Capital Programs, to present Board Item 1912-76 concerning Delco Lead Project.
Thank you. We are recommending approval of item 1912-76, NJ Transit Resilience Program, Delco Lead Storage and Inspection Facility Project, and County Yard Improvement Project, contract amendment for supplemental final engineering and design services. Authorization of this contract amendment will allow for completion of design documents for the construction of the Delco Lead and Inspection Facility and County Yard projects. Authorization is requested here to amend NJ Transit contract number 13-041 with Jacobs Engineering Incorporated of Morristown, New Jersey, in the amount of $4,933,858.18, plus 5% for contingencies, to provide supplemental final engineering and design services in support of the Delco Lead County Yard project, subject to the availability of funds. This authorization will bring the total contract authorization to $35,473,129. clicking the next slide, but it's not working. It has been identified as a resilient safe haven storage location for commuter rail coaches and locomotives and is strategically located along the northeast corridor. The included construction of the service and inspection facility will allow for rapid examination of rail equipment and its return to revenue service following an extreme weather event. It permits the evacuation of rolling stock from both the Meadows Maintenance Complex and Marsville Yard when extreme weather threatens our service. We ask your approval of item 1912-76.
May I have a motion to approve item 1912-76?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Joyce, please take roll call.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Caulfield?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Great. I'd now like Eric to carry on with item 1912-77.
We are recommending approval of 1912-77, NJ Transit Resilience Program, amendment to 2012 Task Order Consultant Contracts Program for environmental permitting and National Environmental Policy Act documentation and other support. Authorization here is requested to increase the total authorization amount for the 2012 Capital Planning and Programs Task Order Consultant Contracts Program with BEM Systems Incorporated, that's NJ Transit Contract Number 13-002B, by $6,200,000 for a total authorization of $24 million for support related to NEPA documentation, environmental permitting, and related tasks. The maximum task order and contracts limits for this previously approved 2012 Task Order Consultant Contracts Program will not apply to tasks related to Superstorm Sandy, Disaster Recovery and Resilience Program, and contract number 13-002B shall be subject to approval from the Office of New Jersey State Comptroller. We ask your approval of item 1912-77.
May I have a motion to approve item 1912-77?
Motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Joyce, roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Caulfield?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff? Motion carried.
Now I'll ask Eric to carry on with item 1912-78 regarding Perth Amboy that the mayor spoke about earlier.
President Corbett, we're recommending approval of item 1912-78, Perth Amboy Railroad Station Accessibility Improvements Project, supplemental final engineering, design services, and construction assistance services. As you heard from the mayor, Perth Amboy Railroad accessibility improvements will include 2 new high-level platforms with stairs, ramps, and the installation of 4 elevators to provide adequate accessibility to people with disabilities. An authorization here is requested to enter into NJ Transit contract number 10-039 with Stantec Consulting Services Incorporated of Rochelle Park, New Jersey, to provide supplemental final engineering design services and construction assistance for the Perth Amboy Station Accessibility Improvements Project in an amount not to exceed $2,700,000 plus 5% for contingencies, subject to the availability of funds, for a total contract amount of $5,950,703.40. Authorization of this design contract will allow for the continuation of design from its current 30% status to 100% completion, and shall include construction assistance. Completion of design will allow us to advertise construction. Perth Amboy is a key station in our system and in our accessibility upgrade program. We ask for your approval of item 1912-78.
May I have a motion to approve board item 1912-78?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Joyce, please take roll.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Caulfield?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff? Motion carried.
Great, thank you, Eric. I would now ask Bill Vaquera, Senior Vice President, Chief Financial Officer, and Treasurer, to present board item 1912-79 regarding Bound Brook.
Thank you, Kevin. We are recommending approval of item 1912-79, Borough of Bound Brook lease for eastbound station rehabilitation. The lease of the historic Bound Brook eastbound station to the Borough of Bound Brook will enable the renovation and reopening of a deteriorating station building and an upgrade to the platform and canopy lighting. The rehabilitation will be pursuant to the standards of the New Jersey Historic Preservation Office and the New Jersey Historic Preservation Act, and funding will through the use of Transportation Alternative Program grant. The project will renew, enhance, and refurbish several aspects of the existing transit infrastructure within the station. These upgrades will improve visibility, safety, and accessibility while retaining the historic fabric of the station. Authorization is requested to take all necessary actions to execute a lease with the Borough of Bound Brook for the Bound Brook eastbound station building and surrounding property at an annual fee of $1 per year for 25 years, with 2 additional 5-year extension periods, where the borough will assume responsibility for the rehabilitation, operation, maintenance, and management of the station, with New Jersey Transit retaining revenue rights. We ask for your approval of item 1912-79.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 1912-79?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Joyce, please take roll.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Caulfield?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I now ask Bill to continue with item 1912-880.
Thank you. We are recommending approval of item 1912-80, new money financing via the issuance of New Jersey Economic Development Authority, NJEDA, New Jersey Transit Transportation Project Revenue Bonds. Authorization is requested to issue tax-exempt bonds in an amount not to exceed $500 million to finance the purchase of over 600 commuter buses and 17 locomotives previously procured and other board-approved contract. Payment for the commuter buses and locomotives was originally anticipated to be funded on a pay-go basis from New Jersey Transit's appropriations from the TTFA. Instead, the issuance of the bonds will enable New Jersey Transit to free up over $450 million of near-term TTFA appropriations for application to other currently unfunded capital projects. The financing will also allow New Jersey Transit to, 1, take advantage of favorable market conditions with interest rates being near historical lows, and 2, spread the cost of these items over the lifespan of the assets. The bonds are expected to have a maturity of not more than 28 years, and debt service will be funded through New Jersey Transit's TTFA appropriations. We ask for approval of item 1912-80.
May I have a motion to approve item 1912-80?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Joyce, please take roll call vote.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Caulfield?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Now ask Bill to carry on with 1912-81 regarding property interest at Orange Railroad Station.
Thank you. We are recommending approval of item 1912-81, New Jersey Transit conveyance of property interests at Orange Railroad Station. Authorization is requested to take all actions necessary to negotiate and convey these property interests to New Jersey Transit approved entities, consistent with terms discussed in the executive session for conveyance of an easement of a portion of Block 2706, Lot 1 in the City of Orange, consisting of 17,760 square feet of land adjacent to the Orange Railroad Station parking lot, and the fee interest, Block 2603, Lot 15, and a portion of Block 2605, Lot 1, consisting of approximately 2,058 square feet in the City of Orange to support transit-oriented development opportunities. We ask for your approval of item 1912-81.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 1912-81?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Joyce, please take roll call.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Caulfield?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And I'd now like to call Eric DeLeo back up to introduce our last item for today, 1912-82 regarding Portal North.
Thanks, President Corbett. We're recommending approval of item 1912-82, NJ Transit Portal North Bridge Project Real Estate Acquisition. The Portal North Bridge Project will eliminate Portal Bridge's movable span, improving its reliability and increasing train speeds traveling over the bridge. The project will also raise the bridge elevation. Today, authorization is requested to acquire the property rights in accordance with the eminent domain law of 1971 from private property owned by National Water Main Cleaning, known as Parcel 113, or 1806 Harrison LLC, located in Kearney, New Jersey. The property is essential for the construction of the Portal North Bridge in the amount not to exceed the amount discussed in executive session and subject to the availability of funds. Authorization of property acquisitions will allow NJ Transit to proceed with offers to Portal North Bridge project property owners. Authorization also allows NJ Transit to file complaints and condemnation, as well as file and record a declaration of taking to acquire these parcels or other parcels for the project and deposit the estimated just compensation with the clerk of the Superior Court. We ask for your approval of item 1912-82.
May I have a motion to approve Board Item 1912-82?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Joyce, roll call, please.
Roll call vote. Chair Gutierrez Scacchetti?
Yes.
Board Member Caulfield?
Yes.
Board Member Caniff? Motion carried.
Thank you. Since there is no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn the board meeting?
So moved.
Second.
May I have a second?
Second.
Before adjourning, I just would like to wish everyone a very happy and healthy holiday season with whoever you celebrate. I hope you enjoy the next several weeks with family and friends. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to my world. We'll see you tomorrow.